Hi guys, this week I'd like to look at log lines. I look at a lot of log lines. I like log lines. I've got the book Logline, which will be free when the book comes out. There's a few things though when you read a log line that a lot of people put in, and these things are completely meaningless. I listen to a lot of podcasts as well, as some of you know. I was listening to Film Sack. It's a very, very good little podcast. They review old films and they sack them, as they say. They discuss what's good and bad about them, and it's like an amusing film review. They were reading out of a film that's been announced, and they were quite excited about it. And they read the review and they said, what the hell does that even mean? And that's what prompted me to do this episode. So many things in so many log lines that I read are completely meaningless. They're things like must deal with it. I've got a little bit of a list. I'll go through my list. Things to avoid. Don't be ambiguous. And don't believe the trope, if you want, the myth of don't tell them everything, leave them hanging, make them come and ask you for more. That would be great if you wrote the world's best log line. But in reality, let's think how log lines are used. Why do people ask for log lines? Because they don't have time to read your treatment or your synopsis or your screenplay. They want a bite-sized chunk, the petit four. They want the sushi tray, small plate. They want something just to get a taste. And then if it's interesting, sure, send me a synopsis, send me a screenplay. But if you tell them something and it doesn't really tell them something, it tells them the start of something, they're like, I can't be bothered. I didn't really want to read it. I've got 1,000 more log lines to read. Let's look at that. I've got 1,000 log lines to read. There's one here that doesn't really tell me the full story. I've got 999 more to go. That will just get you put to one side. The super tropey things that are always in there, as in there's always the must deal with a shadowy past, the hidden secret, the family's dark and shady history. There's always something dark and shady. Unless you tell them what it is, what the dark and shady is, no one cares. An idea isn't very valuable, as we've discussed before. It has no commercial value in its own. It is all the execution of the idea. Look at I Am Legend, Amiga Man. They're all based on the same bit of work, but the last guy left being attacked by vampires or zombies, that's not a great new idea. It's how you execute it, which makes it important and makes it a good story. So don't leave stuff out thinking people are going to go, oh my God, that's so good. I have to ring this guy up. I have to send him an email. I have to text her straight away and find out what that meant. Dark past, shady past, family's dark secrets. People go back to town. And the other thing, when they go back to town, they have to deal with this dark thing. They have to deal with it. They have to confront it. They have to come to grips with. So, okay, this is going to be a typical, what I see is not a great log line. So we're going to have a balding writer from Sydney must go back to his family home to deal with the dark past and come to grips with the events of his growing up. It means nothing. It's word salad. It's a whole lot of things thrown together in a way that hopefully it sounds interesting. Bald guy too, here's a clue if you're losing your hair. If you can pull it, shave it. That's just me. So that's it. And the other thing that's completely vague, push to the edge, push to breaking point. What happens when he gets pushed to the edge, pushed to the breaking point? Does he kick his car or does he commit suicide? Does she go and burn all her clothes or does she run off and join a nunnery? What is the outcome of being pushed to the edge? That's the story. Being harassed is not the story. Their actions are the story. Remember, the story is about people doing things. It can't be ambiguous. The other big one that seems to be hovering around at the moment is there's always a malevolent thing. So the other thing, this is a bit of a story tip as much as it is a logline tip. The balance of power. You've got to have big stakes in most stories. The stakes have to be large and meaningful for your character. It has to be like, Craig has to go down the street to buy bread. That's not big stakes. Who cares? But Craig has to summon as many people as he can together, get as many people together to try to find a bone marrow donor for his brother. That's high stakes. Sorry, that's high stakes. Death's involved, there's tragedy, there's the anxiousness, there's a ticking clock in the background. If you need a bone marrow transplant, that's not going to go away tomorrow. There's ticking clocks. But you don't have the 13-year-old that has to stop a nuclear war. Or, at the moment, there's a big thing for malevolent corporations and evil AI. And people taking over the world. I'm seeing a lot of those, that you have this guy stopping the world from being taken over. It's not about people. That's about this big thing. Try to have some parity between the antagonist and the protagonist. Have the stakes big, have realistic struggles. This overbearing, super duper thing against this. And when you're describing this person, people try to add, they think it's colour, but it just reads as being, oh my God, another person who has a troubled teen. And this is the other one that I love. A shy, meek teen suddenly goes out and saves the world. I don't know if you've been around shy, meek people. They don't step up and take over the world or save us from alien invasions. They're shy and meek. They're not the sort of person who steps up and does that. Sure, that would be a huge transformation. That would be a great arc, but it also would be an unbelievable arc, in my opinion. So the troubled teen, the, angst-ridden, disgruntled teen, all done to death. Shy and introverted. What's the other one? A gang of misfits, as always, or a ragtag bunch. Some guys to pull together a ragtag bunch. You can hear the A-team, give us a montage, get these guys together. That's, it's just done to death. It doesn't make a good story. No one's going to read that and go, wow, I wonder how he's done that for the 10,000th time. Talk about the people. Talk about their struggle. Talk about what they're trying to do. So there's no shadowy organisations that have to, and confront something. Oh, what's the other one they do? They've got to confront their belief. They've got to come to grips. I've said those ones. And the other one too is that there's always something that someone does that unleashes the power of something. An ancient god, a witch's coven, alien invasion, evil AI. These things, and the other one is too, the unlikely hero. Possibly, but let's look at those good hero films. We've got Man on Fire, the Denzel Washington one. Well, he knew his stuff, and he was getting out of that mindset. And then the child gets killed. Switch goes in his head, and he just goes straight into evil killer dude again. Liam Neeson even gives him a warning about his daughter in Taken, and all those Taken films where he says, I've got a specific set of skills. You go your way now, but if you do what you think you're going to do, I'm going to hunt you down and kill you. He's got a very specific set of, but he's not the mild, meek, shy accountant that suddenly becomes this global killer chasing down people that have kidnapped his daughter and are going to take him out. No, those shy, meek, quiet accountants go to the police. That's what happens in real life. Remember, we're writing stories that have to be grounded in some sort of reality. And your logline has to get across that grounded reality. People have to read it and go, oh, yeah, I've seen stories like that before, but I wonder how he pulls this off. I've got a Sherlock Holmes script that I keep working on just because I like it. I like the world. I like the characters I've got. And the entire film basically revolves around relationships. The one between him and Mycroft, and Sherlock's in his 20s. The one between him and Mycroft, and the one between him and James Moriarty, which in my story, they know each other early on. And it's about the relationships between those guys. There isn't some huge conspiracy. There's a crime trying to be committed, and Sherlock gets himself, embroiled in that basically to piss his brother off. He's being a bit rebellious and he's super smart, so he's the brains for another guy. A guy needs someone smart to help him pull off this crime, and he enlists Sherlock. So stay away from the tropes. There is some heaps of logline sites. There's logline.it. Go there, you can post some loglines. People will help you review your loglines. Make sure you're a good citizen. You try to help other people and you review some loglines yourself. But you will see the tropes appearing over and over again, coming to grips with dark past, histories, evil AIs, world-ending events, major this, and no one ever talks about people. I put one over there the other day, just for a bit of fun. I had this thought that a lady finds a phone, but it's a phone from the future, and people from the future are sending her messages and asking her to do things to try to fix their future. But she's also mentally ill. So the struggle is she's not trusting herself. People around her don't trust her, but she still feels a sense of obligation to help the people in the future because they have such a hard time. That's not some world-ending, it could be a world-ending pandemic. I didn't write it. This was just an idea I had. Feel free to take it. It's just an idea. But that looks at a woman's internal struggles with her mental health, her need to help other people. And that's that. It's not, she's got to race against time to save the future before a world-ending pandemic takes, and she pulls together a ragtag bunch, but she's got to deal with her dark past and her shady evidence. Don't overdo it. Just talk about the people in your logline and stay away from the tropes, the dark past, shady, coming to grips with things, people's history, travelling back, evil AIs, invading spaceships, being pushed to the breaking point, pulling together your ragtag bunch of misfits that has an angsty teen, but also a shy guy who raises up and becomes they all sound shit. And they're in everyone's log lines. Tell an entire story. Do not leave things out. Do not make people guess. Let people know your entire story in its complexity in as short as you can, because what they'll ask for is how you're going to pull it off. How do you get that story? How do you tell us about the entire Russian Revolution? That's really interesting from the point of view of a baker and an evolving town. I just made that up. Feel free to have it. So tell your entire story in the best, most concise way you can. Today's been a bit ranty, sorry about that. But I hope I got across everything that you need to consider. Stay away from the tropes. Don't be vague. Be really concise. Hit the points. Tell them the entire story so they can assess whether they like the entire story or not. They're not going to hunt you down. And the other thing, don't throw too much in, as in they do this and then this and then this, and there's a world-ending virus, and this, and because if a logline looks confused, I've said to someone the other day, most people who read loglines know the logline multiplied by 100 is the movie. So whatever's in here will be expanded out in all directions to make the movie. If you're really confused in your logline, is it about a man and a woman trying to get back together during a disaster? Is it about a man and woman getting back together while defeating aliens that have taken their daughter and released a virus, so they've got to get to the UN? Like, suddenly you go, what the hell? If I multiply that by 100, I've got a confusing mess of nothing. So make sure you also stick to the most truest part of your story, the core, the through line. Don't let people guessing. Let people know if it's a family drama set to the backdrop of World War II. It's a this and this. Learn some of your patterns. Go get the book Logline. If you want, you can reach out and I'll send you a copy. I sell the book for a whole $4. And that's just so it's not worth less, like with no value. And I'll discuss that another time. But concise, stay away from the tropes. Okay, guys, been a bit ranty, like I said. If you want to reach out, there's griffithscreative.com.au. Go there, leave messages, fine. Hunt me down on social media, Craig D. Griffiths, same place, same person, everywhere. The new book is coming out. I am actually getting really close to finishing it now. It's just a polishing and editing and the time to do it. I keep buying toys, and they distract me. So again, that will be free when it comes out in a couple of weeks' time. Like, comment, subscribe. If you think I'm completely wrong, leave a comment. If you want to defame me, leave a comment. I'm all good with everything. This starts a conversation. At least I can learn from you and you can learn from me. We can learn together. Okay, guys, I hope this has helped. And until next time, keep writing. Bye.